Ladies, I want to talk about something that all of us have gone through. If we're not going through it now, we have been through it at some point. Well, being very young, we were told we were princesses. We were told that a prince was going to carry us off, or some form of hearing these stories, watching movies. And we heard, wait for this knight in shining armor, wait for this guy that was going to be so perfect. So, what did we do? We waited. We got in relationship after relationship that was really bad, very toxic. I know myself, I went through relationship after relationship, very long time relationships. For instance, I stayed with these men for 4 to 5 years to three and put up with so much things. I waited patiently. I thought maybe I could change him. And I know that this sounds very familiar, ladies. We think, oh, if I do this, if I do that, if I do this extra things for him, if I'm there and I'm constantly just showing him I'm that woman that he's not going to find anyone else. Well, let me tell you, he will find somebody else this way. He will find someone else to use and treat him that horrible, painful way of feeling. He will do it left and right if you don't stop this and put your foot down. Now, I had to go most of my adult life going through this and putting up with it. So I learned the very, very hard way of just having my heart ripped out. And I stayed single for about 5 years before I even dated and found someone else. And so I'm not telling you to stay single for 5 years, but give yourself some time, think it through, take care of yourself, put yourself first. Stop going for these red flags or these guys that show tons of red flags and you just continue to ignore it. You give them excuses. And believe me, I hear it left and right from ladies that say, oh, he'll never find anyone like me and he better straighten up. It's been going on so many years, past the even 10 mark. I hear this. And you're still saying the same thing. Why do I say this? Because I know how it feels. It's very close to my heart. I've been there, I've been through it. I was so bad that I couldn't even eat at one point because I was so just down and stressed out from this person that ghosted me. I was with them for 5 years. They would ghost me periodically. It would go a week, I wouldn't hear from them, and I would just feel like I was going to lose my mind. Now, that's a whole nother issue, ladies. I mean, none of it is okay, but this person was a narcissist, and there's people that you just randomly call narcissists. No, they're cheaters or they're whatever they are. There is nothing like a narcissist. I've been with one, maybe forms of it, and other people that I didn't know what hit me. I felt like I was going through the ringer. Through my mind was just crazy. It was not. I don't know. I just didn't know how to function anymore. So, ladies, I planned on doing a hair video. I plan on talking about my hair oil that I'm promoting again, but I feel like this is very important. This is part of our identity, who and what we become when we are with people like this. It could bring down your whole world. It can cause you to be angry, depressed, not want to eat, isolated because you're just waiting for that person. You don't even have your friends anymore. And if you do, you want to make sure that you don't have plans with them. For instance, ladies, I know of someone that this person, this girl, she wants to do things with someone like a friend, or she has something, but she will wait for that person to see if they have plans or not. And then for instance, they didn't have plans. And then they all of a sudden said, oh, well, I guess I'm just going to sit home by myself and switch it on them. So that person will not do whatever the plans that they were going to do. So I hear things like this and I'm thinking, wow, I mean, I was that person once. And it's really sad. And yes, people say, oh, I'm going to learn on my own. I'm going to give him this chance after chance. And it continues to be, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10, even 20. And I mean, I know what it feels like. I know how painful it is. So I think that if you have a daughter, don't give them this expectations that this is going to be their life. This is going to be, teach them that there's somebody to wait for and to watch for the red flags, but not to sit there and tell them, you were a princess, you deserve the best, you deserve a prince. Granted, yes, you do deserve better, you deserve the best, but even the best men out there, they have their issues. They have not issues, but they have not perfection, just like we don't have perfection. You want to look for a guy, or when you start dating, that will be a stronger, better person, a version of you that you're expecting, that what you give, you'll get back. So this is very hard to explain, just because I'm not telling you to look for perfection. Nobody's perfect, but look for those red flags if somebody is doing these things to you. Also, obsession and possession and jealousy, that is not healthy. I have a girl that I work with as well. She was talking to one of the guys that gets extremely jealous of his girlfriend, and he's a lot younger. And I said, she's your girlfriend. She chooses to be with you. You don't own her. You can't force somebody to be with you. If they're going to wander off, then they're going to wander off. You got to make that decision to stay with that or move on. And a certain girl that I work with said, "Oh, good for you. You're being possessive. That's your girl. That's your property." And I said, "Nobody's anybody's property, and that is not good. That is not healthy." And I used to be so obsessed with my now husband doing something to me that I probably drove him crazy because of my past history, because of what I went through. That I know a lot of the times I still feel that way. I mean, I've gotten better, I've worked on myself, and I choose to not have reactions when I think that I see something, or, in my head, I think, okay, is he really doing that? I mean, he may have, like for instance, looking at someone else, I would get so irate just because of what I've been through. And I believe there's a form of respect. Like, you need to respect me when we're together. And I brought that up and I said, I'm not dealing with this. So, but I'm not going to pound it, like beat it over the head, consistently and living that way. But my now husband, that we were friends with for a year before we even started dating, we worked through things. It hasn't been easy. You work through it in a way that is healthier. You're not screaming at each other. And don't get me wrong, we've had our outbursts. Like, it's been very far in between, but these are things that need to be brought out. But I'm just telling you, ladies, that you need to put yourself first. This affects your life. This affects what you want to do. Sometimes you can't even go and do your own business. You don't know what to do because they're so angry at you all the time and you want to please them. And I know that, and it's a girl that I work with, and I use that a lot because this happens, when your workplace, you hear these stories that they'll be at work and they'll do a double shift, and the guy, they get so irate and accuse them of going out and doing things. And this particular person is taking pictures of themselves where they are, when they're at work, when they get home. And I just think that that's just disheartening. Nobody should have to live like that. So why do I bring this up? Because I feel like we need to be better with ourselves so we can be better with everyone else. And we heal ourselves inside from this toxic relationships. When I met my husband, he wasn't all mad at me all the time or jealous and saying, "Why are you looking at this guy? What do you do? Who's this? Who's that?" And I would think, why is he not caring? Does he not care about me? Like, what is going on? He's just so casual about it. And then one day I asked him about it, and he said, I I'm not going to drive myself crazy, or you. If you're going to do something, then you're going to do it, and I can't do anything about it. And then I'll address it from there. And I'm not going to drive both of us crazy. And I was still thinking, this is not right. This is not normal. But now I've gotten better with it. And if he mentions anything, for instance, I've said something, and he says, "Well, you don't," or it's like a little jealousy coming out. I get mad at him now. I'm like, really? And so, yeah, before I thought, oh, this is normal, this is how it's supposed to be. And I liked it at the time because I was so conditioned in the head, and it wasn't a healthy condition, that I was thinking, wow, why doesn't this guy care about me? But yeah, it could be really crazy how our brains are conditioned to believe this once we are just having this kind of relationship that's very unhealthy and toxic and codependent on a person that's this way. And I have still some ways to go. I'm working through things and I've gotten so much better with feeling down on myself and feeling like someone's going to cheat on me and having this in my head because it's very hard once you've been cheated on. It's not an overnight thing, it's not an overnight healing process. It takes time. And that's why I'm so glad I took 5 years off. It just turned out that way. I kept going and going, didn't even go on dates. And it just turned into that amount of time. And I didn't even miss it at the time. So towards the end of the 5 years, I started to feel like I wanted to start dating. And I slowly started getting online, going online, because I didn't go out anymore. I didn't do anything. So I did meet one guy before my husband. He was about a 5-month relationship, I think. It just didn't work. I mean, nice guy, but our values were different. He worked from probably 9 in the morning to probably 10 at night. It was just a very high demanding career he had, and he loved what he did, and I didn't want to be I didn't want that to be that person. You're always working, you're doing this, you're doing that, and it just kind of slowly faded away. I already had a crush on my husband. He gives me crap to this day. And I give him crap because I tell him, oh, I had to chase you, which I didn't. I was very reserved about it, but I do give him crap about it. So it's a fun story. We bring up every now and then. And um, he said, oh, I did have a crush on you. I said, no, you didn't. You didn't even like me. I was too reserved for you. And it's just, it's cute. But don't get me wrong. Like I said, sometimes I get so mad at him, but it's better. It's better. In a not in an unhealthy way. I do get upset. I'm sure he gets upset with me, which he says he doesn't, but he does. I said everybody gets mad at the other person. Did I go through a lot, ladies? I did. It was times I couldn't eat with that narcissist for the 5 year one. And yes, I had other stories from other people, but this one particularly, when he would disappear on me and ghost me, I thought I was going to just like not be able to function without him. And I literally would just feel like my whole world was just it does. It feels like your world falls apart. I just want to share that with you and let you know that you deserve more. You deserve better for you, for your kids, if you have them, for your family, for those around you, for yourself, number one. Realize, I could tell you over and over and over, and people can tell you over and over and over, your family or friends that have told you, but you have to be the one to snap out of it and just have mind over matter. For instance, when I first left that narcissist, I ended up living with him for almost 2 years. Then I moved upstairs in the house that he was buying. It was like a separate area, a bedroom, and then like a little loft, just small. And I completely just ended it, ladies. I mean, it was crazy how I just managed the courage to end it while I was living with him completely. It was so bizarre. And then I said, I'm going to get my own place. I started slowly getting things. Granted, I was still a little devastated. It was getting easier, but I was still hurt. I made the point. I left. I remember that day. I put everything in my car. Well, I had to make a couple of trips. But the very, very last day that I grabbed every single thing and I packed it in my car, I was like, it was the weirdest feeling ever. It was just, I was hurt. I was hurt. And it was that song type leaving in the car, and I had my music on, just like, belting out this hurtful song. And I moved into my townhome, got all my things set up, and I sat on the floor and I fell on the floor basically and I cried. I cried. Like, I don't know how much I cried, but I just was like, I was hurt. And I did it though. And I didn't have any contact with him. I didn't go on anything. Like, we only had Facebook together at the time. Well, he didn't even have me on his Facebook, so never mind. I would always look at his Facebook, and then, but when I was living with him, I tried to even distance myself. I would see him periodically. He would work and then he would come home late. He was seeing someone while I lived there, but we were done. And I knew it. It was, and so I did not try to see anything about him, ladies. You can't go on social media. You can't keep looking at their things because the longer your mind is away from that, the easier it gets to move on. And don't forget, you need to cry. You need to go through the pain. You need to push through that. You need to go through the pain to get through it and to get over it. But you don't want to keep wallowing in it, looking at pictures, looking at, every now and then it may pop up, but you don't want to go and search for it. Go on their Instagram, go on their TikTok, still be on friends with them. You can't do that. You cannot do that by all means. You can't check in with them. How are you doing? What is he doing? Because this will prolong you getting over people, this person. So just stay strong, ladies. I know I'm getting really deep, but I have a lot of stories to tell about this. Trust me, I've been there, I've done it, I've overcome it. Finally, in my life, some people never get out of it, even past 40s, 50s, and it's so, so disheartening and devastating. I hate to see other women go through this, but they have to be the ones to stop it and stay strong. Yes, you're going to feel like times you're crumbling and you're falling apart. That's part of it, but get away from the toxic in your life. Like I said, I was going to talk about my hair oil, which I am promoting. This is something that I used in my hair for 2 years to grow my hair out and my bald spots. I do use this in my scalp. I don't wash it out. I will leave the links in the description. I will also have 3 links in there you can go into, and one is for my hair oil, one is for a guide to start with your hair growth journey, and it gives you some transformation tips, what I did, as well as I am an ambassador for Stan Store. If you are ever looking to start your own online course or coaching, this is a great platform. You could check that out for 14 days for free. If you decide to purchase it, I will get a commission for it. But I just want to say these are things that you could do for yourself. The stresses of your hair can come from this, not being able to start your own online course or your own thing because you have that person getting jealous all the time. And of course, my online coaching will be coming out soon. And so this is just all included in my coaching. It'll be about hair and hair transformation tips, about vitamins, about relationships. One slide will be, it won't be too much in depth with that. This channel is mainly about hair. But I just want to say have a great day, ladies. Thank you so much for watching and stay true to yourself.